a new K-pop group. I can't wait. Let's go. Hello wonderful humans of the internet, how are we? My name is Sam Scott-Thorne and I am a vocal coach based in Glasgow. Now if you'd like to meet and explore your voice a little more, you can find me on sstvocals.com. You can also find me on Patreon and various other social media platforms, and I'll put the handles down below and over there. Now, if you'd like to consider becoming a patron, you have access to things like early release of reactions, you can fast track reactions, become a reaction, there's special roles on my Discord server, and you have access to all sorts of bonus content like my Vocal Anatomy 101 CDs where we learn how the voice works. So consider becoming a patron and help shape my channel. Just like Santa Fe Des has done, they have gotten in touch and asked me to check out this new K-pop group, which I am super excited to check out. So without further ado, let's introduce them first. We're going to go and listen to NMIXX. I don't know if that's how you say it, but the letters are NMIXX. It could be Roman numerals. I don't know. Anywho, they are a girl group, a K-pop girl group, I believe, and this song is called Run for Roses. So let's just go and take a look and see what we think. I also have their names written down, which I never usually do, but Santa Fe Des was kind enough to send me a little description of them all. So let's just see how we go. I might still get it wrong because I am an idiot. Is that a sound engineer shouting at them or someone in the crowd? Sound engineer. Hand to hand, you know we wanna go run for roses. Okay. Right, this is Hat Bay. Now, Bay has this really kind of, it's not quite gritty, but it feels like it's a lower larynx play sound. We are not alone. That kind of place. I mean, if it was a male voice, it would be like way down here. Da, 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 da. It has a little bit of like a purr to it, and that's from it being in a lower part of the register and a little bit of drop larynx just to give it a little bit more of that kind of gravitas and that weight. I really like that. It sounds kind of villainous in a way. It's nice. Okay, the blonde lady is called Lily. I like that riff. It felt tight, but at the same time it had enough movement in it to feel quite organic. I think it was the way that the vowel was kind of moving. There was always like a little bit of swing to it. Very, very nice. I'm going to enjoy this. No. Maybe. Okay, so there was a bunch of things going on. The vocalist part, let's say that Bae is more like a speaking part or a rapping part, if you like. It has that kind of energy to it. So the other singing parts, they all kind of felt very similar in that it had that very K-pop kind of quality. It was lifted, it was bright, it was clean. They all felt that energy. I don't know if they're going to differentiate as the song goes on. But I like that. I mean, it means that everything's quite uniform. And then once they start to like play around, it'll feel very much like layers being peeled back almost. I don't know if that makes sense. It'll just feel like it's kind of opening up from this place of everyone doing the same thing into this like more dynamic sound. But even just hearing Bae against all the others felt like that. So I don't know, maybe if they all stay the same, we've still got Bae. We've still got Bae. Okay, so we're actually hearing it already. So, who was that? I'm gonna say, I'm probably gonna get this wrong, it was Saleun that was doing the first part. Now, she has a really deep set voice. It has that, again, that like vibration down in the chest. It sounds very grounded. So even there, it was a different tone from the first thing she sang. I think she sang the first time. If she didn't, apologies. But then when it moved on to the other lady, and she is panic mode, Kyujin, possibly because of the braids, and I've got down that Kyujin has braided hair. She had a very lifted sound. The brightness, it's kind of stayed, it almost went more bright. So they're definitely diverging now. I like it. Okay, so we had this. Now I'm not so sure because this lady had braided hair too. So is she Kyujin? I'm not helping myself here at all, am I? Anyway, right, the lady with the braid coming down here, she had a super twangy voice. It was definitely an oral twang, which is your epiglottis. If you apply oral twang, basically what is happening is your epiglottis comes over your true vocal folds where the sound is produced, but they don't quite close. So you get this little back force of air. It goes back on top of your vocal folds, creating a thicker sound and creating that really pronounced, kind of punchy, really quite laser sharp tone. Lily had the same kind of idea, but it just wasn't as twangy. It wasn't as pushed. So there was very similar styles there, but one was going much farther with the twang than Lily. The way that this has been mixed is wild because it's obviously some kind of 360 experience. So they've mixed it afterwards and it's really intense. Like the voices are just like firing into my brain. So I might even miss stuff because it's so clear. I don't know if that would make sense to anybody, but it's like looking at a picture in Ultra HD, like a Where's Wally picture. I'm like, there's almost too much detail here. I need to dumb my brain down. Now, there's a definite kind of vertical quality to most of the vocals here. And by vertical, I'm talking about their thyroid cartilage. When you tilt your thyroid cartilage, you get more of a kind of a traditional singy sound and you get a vibrato off the top of that. So, we're not getting any of this like, oscillation. It's very it's driven, and I feel like for this song it works because it's a very kind of like, here we are, in your face, bang kind of sound. They're not wanting to soften any of it. In fact, the hard edges kind of make it a little bit more kind of forceful, in my opinion. And I feel like this lady here with the braid is kind of the real driving force of that tone. She's really got it in spades. Again, Lily's riffs are really pleasing to my ear because they do feel almost kind of like delayed, like very off the cuff and quite like loose, but they're complicated. So it's a really nice juxtaposition to my ear. I feel like it's very organic. I think I've said that already, but that's the word that keeps jumping out to me. Now this lady here with short dark hair, I think is Haewon. I might not be pronouncing these properly. I've not heard them. I've only seen them to read. So Haewon is, I think, the lady with the short dark hair. She has a little bit of that bay quality in that the tonal quality stays in a lower kind of area of pitch. It doesn't quite have as much of that dropped larynx, so it's got a wee bit more brightness to it. Feels even more direct in a way, because with that dropped pitch but lifted larynx, you get like a real kind of intensity off the sound. I like her voice too, it's nice. Okay, so this was Saloon, I think, again. There's quite an ease to this sound. It's very vertical again. I think that's really sticking out to me, is that there's no real tail ends. There's no like tailed off offsets, which is how you finish a phrase. Everything feels quite glottal and quite up and atom. I like it. Okay, so this is kind of a change here because you can't go dum 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 with like twang on. You get dum 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 dum. It's too intense. So she's having to take that twang off in order to make that sound, and you can hear there's a really nice depth to that sound in her voice. I'd quite like to hear her voice with less twang on it. I'm sure she does it in other songs, but for this like little window, I'm enjoying it. There's so much production either on the mic while they sing into it or after the fact of the performance. I'm finding it really hard to focus on the sound versus what's coming out their lips. It's a combination of like really heavy like reverb, and the way that it's being compressed is so like sharp. It's not that I'm not enjoying it, I just feel like I should be listening to this without seeing them. Does that make sense to you? Like, I feel like I would enjoy this more if I couldn't see their faces. And that shouldn't be the case because look at them all. They are lovely. Yeah. Oh, there's a little bit of grit in there as well. I'm actually enjoying it now more that they're all coming in at different times. I can hear them starting a phrase in this ear and then it moves round to this ear. I think that's maybe what's throwing me off, is that it feels feels like I'm being dragged about inside my own skull. It's so impressive how sound can do that to the brain. Like, I'm just absolutely discombobulated here. And that's kind of the idea, because they're wanting things to feel like they're weaving around, and each voice is kind of taking you on a separate journey. So it feels like one is running up and pulling you in this direction, then the other one's grabbed you by the arm and taking you in this direction, then the other one's grabbing you, and you're just getting pulled from pillar to post, but in the best way. Lily's high note was beautiful. It was crystal clear, very, very soft, but it had twang on it, which made it sound loud. It means that you don't have to try and belt these sounds. You can actually rely on frequencies, and the oral twang frequency sets off the resonant frequency in your ear canal. So you don't have to put in a super crazy amount of effort to make a sound that sounds really loud. She works really smart and not really hard. I'm sure she works really hard, but you know what I mean. They're all very impressive, and they feel like very individual now, whereas before I felt they were trying to be like homogenous. Now I'm not getting that vibe. They're like breaking away entirely. Oh, wow. That was brilliant. I really, really like Haewon's voice. I think there's a power to it, but also like a delicateness. It's very soft, but she doesn't shy away from some of these bigger sounds. And I really like that. It gives a very unique quality. Very nice. I really enjoyed that. They seem very special. The song was great. The way it was mixed was like insane, but like in the best way. It felt very much like an experience rather than just listening to a song. If you get a chance, go and listen to this version. I'll link it down below. And go and you'll see what I mean. Like, you get pulled around, put headphones on. But thank you so much to Santa Fe Des for suggesting that. And if you liked it, please give it a like and a thumbs up down below. If you want to see more from me, hit subscribe, ring the bell, and anytime I have new content, you will be the first to know. So I guess all that's left for me to say is thank you so much for joining me. And how are we going to buy this one? I don't know. So I guess all that's left for me to say is thank you so much for joining me. And if you enjoyed this video, then please subscribe so I am not alone. You gorgeous people. Love you. Bye.